Welcome back. This is our second lesson inside of the prerequisite chapter. We're going to start with graphing. So a couple of things with graphing. We need to know some definitions and formulas. We have slope, which is just the rise of a run. It's how much it goes up or down over how much it goes left or right. And the formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. An x-intercept is just where it crosses the x-axis, and this is the point x comma 0. And the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, 0 comma y. Then we have a couple equations of line, slope-intercept form. This is the normal one, y equals mx plus b, where slope is m and the y-intercept is b. You have point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. M is the slope again, and here x1, y1 is just the given point in the equation. Standard form is the one it normally starts out in, which is ax plus by equals c. Here a, b, c are all integers, and a is positive. Okay, so let's see these in action. The first example here asks us to write the equation that goes through two separate points, 3, negative 4, and 0, 1. So we have to find the slope. So we do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's 1 minus a negative 4 over 0 minus 3. Minus a negative becomes plus, so this becomes 1 plus 4, which is 5, over negative 3. Now, what's it in slope-intercept form? But I'm going to start in point-slope form because we have a point and we have the slope. And that's the easiest way to get it into slope-intercept form. So we're going to use our point-slope form. In this question, I'm going to use the second point, 0, 1, because the 0 will make it much easier when we substitute in. So x1 in this question is 0, y1 is 1, and our slope is 5 over negative 3. Now we're going to distribute the negative 5/3, so it becomes negative 5/3 x plus 0, so we can just drop the plus 0 and it's just negative 5/3 x. To get y by itself, we're going to add 1 to both sides. We get y equals negative 5/3 x plus 1, and we now have it in slope-intercept form. Okay, our next example asks us to graph a line. Here it's in standard form though, so we have to get into slope-intercept form first in order to graph. So to do that, we're going to subtract 7x from both sides to get x onto the right side of the equation. So we get negative 7x minus 9. Then we're going to divide by 3 to get rid of the 3 in front of the y, the coefficient. So we get y equals negative 7/3 x, and then 9 divided by 3 was negative 3 there. Okay, so we're going to start on negative 3 on the y-intercept, on the y-axis, and then we're going to go down 7 and right 3. Now it doesn't fit on this graph, so what we're going to do is the opposite of that. We're going to go up 7 and left 3, and it creates a graph that looks like this. Our next example is a special case, x equals 3. It doesn't have a y that involves in it at all, so that's why it's a special case. And x equals 3, what it means is for whatever y value possible, x will always be 3, meaning it goes straight through the x-axis at 3, creating a vertical line. If it had been y equals 3, then it would have been a horizontal line through 3 on the y-axis. So that's the difference between the special cases there. X equals is vertical, y equals is horizontal. Next, we're going to learn a little bit about graphing inequalities. It follows the same rules as graphing equations, but it adds a little bit more. And that is, solid lines are there if it can be equal, dashed lines if it cannot be equal. And then if it's a greater than, then you shade above. If it's less than, you shade below. So let's see an example of that. Here we have 3x minus y is greater than or equal to negative 1. Now this isn't in slope-intercept form, so we need to get it there. We're going to subtract 3x from both sides. So we get negative 3x minus 1. And then we're going to divide by negative 1 to get y by itself. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative in an inequality, the inequality sign changes. So it becomes less than or equal to, and then we change both signs, 3x plus 1. Okay, so we're going to start at positive 1 on the y-axis. And then we're going to go up 3 and right 1, up 3 and right 1. And then we're going to do the exact opposite going down. And then because it's less than or equal to, it's a solid line, and we're going to shade below. So we're going to shade below for this one. That's all there is to graphing equations and inequalities.